What up, y'all? It's your boy Lenny S. And please do me a favor, do yourself a favor, check out my interview on ADTV.
First, I want to welcome you to the world, to the UK, Lenny. My first question is actually, what inspired you to be a part of Live Talks UK?
I'd seen that you guys, Live Talks, had did one before, Live Talks, and I don't know, it seemed really dope and interesting. I'd heard good things about Velma, and it came through me through two of my really good friends, Ayana and Brianna, over in the States, and they were developing this relationship with Velma, and said it'd be really good, and I trusted it and trusted her, trusted them, and I'm really glad I came. It's pretty amazing.
It's amazing.
The love's been overwhelming, and it's been great.
Yeah, it's been an amazing turnout, and everyone's been talking about it. But being that you've been in the industry for over 20 years, how important do you think internships are in general, and how integral was it for you at the start of your career?
I think internships are extremely important. I think it sets the tone for where you're going, you know what I mean, in your career and what you're about to embark on within the entertainment industry. It's how I got my start. I got in through internship, through working like internship in the office and street team, and not really the traditional internship because I wasn't in school. But nonetheless, it was called an internship. I worked for free or for train fare wages and lunch money, you know what I mean? But I would have done it for nothing, honestly. I wanted to be in the music business since I was a kid. So anything that I had to do to get there was gonna happen regardless.
And how do you manage the personal work-life balance with the heavy demands of your job currently?
Personal work life, like family and stuff like that, or the way I balance personal and professional is I think my kids, my family understands. They understand what I do now, right? All my kids are old enough to really understand. My youngest daughter is 10, so they 100% understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, who I'm doing it for, which is them, and it's easier to balance now because I get to bring them along with certain things and certain events and certain concerts or certain touring or just in general with a lot of the work since they're of age now. The balance has gotten easier, but it's still all the more very difficult. I get to miss, I unfortunately miss important birthdays and ceremonies and, because I have a high demanding job, but I mean, because it's for them, it's all worth it for me, you know what I mean?
And in terms of Roc Nation as a label, what do you feel separates them from the traditional major labels?
What I feel why Roc Nation, I feel is separates themselves or ourselves from the traditional, record label is we're an entertainment company. So, right there, that's a total separation. You may have other labels that, they sign artists and, they're there to, put artists on and put their music out in the world. And we're an entertainment company. We're dealing with publishing, we're dealing with the label, of course, we're dealing with management, sports agency, streaming service, all of the above. Publishing, everything is in there. So it isn't the typical record label, you know what I mean? It's literally an entertainment company with all facets of entertainment.
Just added on to that, it seems that with a lot of artists within the music industry, how integral is it to have the right lawyer or accountant in your career?
It's really important, man, to have the right people around you and the right team, and that team being management, accounting, business manager, even an assistant, whatever the case may be. You got to keep your finances in order. A lot of artists get on and they're really young, and when you're really young and you get money fast, you tend to think it's just going to keep on coming, and it's going to keep on coming at the rate that it's coming, and so you're going to spend it just as fast as you're getting it. And I think personally, that's one of the things that unfortunately I've seen a lot of young artists go through. And who are they to think any different? You're 18 or 20 or 24 or 26 or whatever the case may be, and you have hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in at a time. You're gonna be like, okay, it's cool. I could buy this car for $200,000. I'm gonna make 200 more in the next 2 weeks, so I could buy this watch for 80,000, or you know what I mean. So you just really tend to think that those things are going to come in as often as they are all the time, and it's smart to have, like I said, financial advisors, attorneys, or good management, or whomever's going to be around to help you sort of navigate through this journey you're about to go on with the amount of money you're about to be making.
And just tying in with that, what are the pros and cons of having like your homeboy manager?
Pros and cons of homeboy management. Pros, trustworthy, loyal, honorable, and they have your best interest at heart. Those are the pros. The cons, they don't really know management, or they don't know business. They don't have the experience. So it's a lot of those things that don't help. I feel the solution is, because I love homeboy management to a degree, I feel the solution is partnering up with someone who's done this for a while, who may have experience, maybe even a little older. Older doesn't mean better or more experience, but just older in the sense of maybe somebody's been doing it longer and has, again, the knowledge and history and experience of, handling an artist, partnering up with them. And you know what? I'd rather make, if you guys are getting 20%, I'd rather make 10% of like, $10 million than like 20% of 1 million, you know what I mean? Because I just feel like, the more experienced manager is going to help you, again, navigate and maybe get more deals in place because they have more relationships and, they're just in tune more because of the experience they have. So that's my solution. But I mean, they both have their pros and cons.
And one of your clients, DJ Khaled, what convinced you that he's going to be the success that he is today?
What convinced me Khaled was going to be this successful? That happened from day one, man. As you see, I'm with very few people. I work with very few people. Obviously, Jay-Z, I've been blessed and honored to work with, and I only bring this up because his relative is just like Khaled. Early on, I just thought Jay, for how he moved, for how smart he moved, for the business sense that he had, even as an artist, for wanting to own his own business and his own masters and his own music. And I just felt like he was going to be one of the greatest and was going to be here a very long time. And I wanted to work with somebody like that or under somebody like that. And the same with Khaled. I met Khaled, almost 15 plus years ago. And same thing. I noticed and saw like this like ambition and this like hunger and this like, just like, he's like a lion, like, and just ready to conquer the world and to do anything he had to in order to get the best record, to get the best, song, to get the best artist, to get the best deal, like whatever that is. Like you notice that early on. And I honestly and truly believe both of them in their own right were going to be what they are today.
Now we know photography is a big passion of yours. So what is your favorite lens to use and why?
Man, my favorite lens is probably, I got this 50, the Canon 50. Goes down to 1.2, I think, 1.4, 1.2 right here. Yeah, it's 1.4. I have the 1.2. That I love the depth effect. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like what the phones have been taking on now with the portrait effect that's on there. It's pretty much pretty similar to just kind of like, I love centering and focusing on the subject, and then everything else sort of just like fading away and blurring away. And I don't know, it's kind of like how I see life when I see things and I have goals and I'm after something, I'm like focused right on that, and kind of nothing else around me or it matters, just getting to that.
Okay, last couple of questions. Jay-Z's obviously going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. But what are some of your fondest memories from him, and how did you actually first meet?
First met Jay out and about in New York promoting. I was a street promoter for like indie labels and like, just record companies that were looking for, kids to go out and do street promotion pretty much. And I would be out and about and see him, at different events or functions or parties or shows. So that's how we got familiar with the face. And then I approached them at the office because I know a friend of mine, Ray, that was working with him when he first started Rockefeller Records. And we approached to be the head of the street team and kind of got denied. But that's how I met Jay, and I just was persistent enough to where he gave me a shot, and he gave me that shot. And the other question was,
what are some of your fondest memories that you shared with Jay-Z?
Best memories with Jay. I think it's probably when we did the Hard Knock Life album. So mind you, Hard Knock Life is the third Jay-Z album. It's the first one where he got a major hit, which was Hard Knock Life, obviously, the Annie record. And prior to that, I don't think people believed Jay was going to be Jay. You know what I mean? We had Reasonable Doubt. We had Volume 1. Reasonable Doubt was classic. Volume 1, was you hated it or you loved it. It had great songs on there. But there was nothing that I guess for the industry or the public to believe this guy's a legend, or he's going to be a legend, or he's classic, or he can sell millions and millions of records. There was nothing viable there, no viable hit or anything to, to prove that. And on Volume 2, third album, was the Annie record, the Hard Knock Life record, and the rest of a whole bunch of dope-ass records that were on there. That kind of like solidified, who this man is. And it was personal and professional, right? Professionally, we proved to the industry and the world. And then personally, we proved to like all our family and friends who were like, Jay-Z, who's this? What are you doing? My family was trying to give me transit and like different applications for jobs, because they were like, we don't know what you're doing, what this music thing is, who's Jay-Z, you know what I mean? So Hard Knock Life, everybody knew. So it was just kind of like, finally. And it went from like my grandmother being like, I don't know what he's doing with his life, to like, my grandson works with Jay-Z, the guy, the Hard Knock Life guy. You know what I mean? So like, for me personally, I can't speak for everybody else, obviously. That's one of my best memories of Jay, and just being able to prove to the world what we saw, Yeah,
and what are some of the business lessons you've learned in the music industry thus far?
Business lessons I've learned in the music industry, unfortunately, everybody's not your, family member or best friend per se. You get in business with people and you become close to them, obviously, because you're spending so much time with them and doing so much with them. And you tend to think that, that you could trust them as much as your, brother or sister or best friend that you grew up with, or your lover or your wife or your husband, you know what I mean? And it's just not the case, But that's a good part. It's not, I don't want to make it seem bad, but you just have to, be alert and be careful and know that it is a business, you know what I mean? I learned that you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. It's one of my favorite quotes from the Jay-Z Decoded book. And it's true. I found that with myself. I found that with other people. It's like people aren't going to just hand you, what you deserve. And you may very well deserve it. You may very well have worked your ass off for it. And you think, I just gave him 6 years. I deserve a raise. I deserve it. No, if you don't speak up and if you don't negotiate what your worth and what your value is, they're not going to give it to you. You know what I mean? So those two things are probably what would stick, close to me.